Losif Vissarionovich Dukashvili Zeladze, also known as Joseph Stalin, was the son of a shoemaker from Georgia. His father didn't speak Russian, so he didn't have the necessity to learn the language until his mother realized he needed education, so he entered him to the Orthodox Seminary of Tiflis. He was in that school. He studied theology and other stuff, which led him to read The Capital, written by Karl Marx. Stalin liked this very much and began to make relationships with Marxists. Because of this, he was expelled from his religious school. Actually, his name means Iron Man. In his youth, he initiated his political activity associating to the Russian socialists against the Tsarist regime. A little bit before he became orphan, which was in some way better to him, because he became more independent in his beliefs and sayings. After Lenin's death in 1924, Stalin begins ruthlessly promoting himself as political hero. He develops his own nationalist brand of Marxism called socialism. When Trotsky contradicts his plans, Stalin has him exiled. After that, he begins to become popular with his party, and by the 1920s he became dictator of the Soviet Union.
Hello, I'm Luis, and I'm going to talk to you about the ideology Joseph Stalin had over politics and economy in the Soviet Union. Firstly, in the side of politics, he wanted to make the Soviet Union a total communist state. Joseph Stalin created a big military to maintain and make stronger his power. He was the author of the Great Purge, or also known as the Great Terror, which intention was to eliminate people that were against him and his ideas. In the other side, in the economy, Joseph Stalin wanted to make the economy grow a lot. Firstly, to grow the economy, he made the 5-year plan, which was designed to transform the Soviet Union into a big industrial power, which happened in fast industrialization. In all the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin took land from the peasants and used them for the government benefit, knowing that more land will produce more money for all their economy. All the economy of the Soviet Union was majorly based on heavy industrialization.
As my partner Luis said, the main purpose of Stalin was to create a modern industrialized state. Mainly because he wanted to make clear that communism was the best option for the people and not looking weak among his capitalist neighbors. Also, he wanted to look as the best leader for his people. But in 1939, he signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop non-aggression pact with Hitler, dividing Eastern Europe. But in 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union and made the Soviets lose a pretty big part of his army. After years of intense battle, the Soviet Union pushed into the Germans into Berlin, but it was at a big human cost.
Under the reign of Stalin, many human rights were violated in many aspects. Some examples of the rights that he violated was when he wanted to change the Soviet Union instead to be an agricultural country to be an industrialized country. But the changes was very difficult. The country didn't produce more food thanks to the industries, but the people can protest because all the things that Stalin decided was wrong, and that's why no one can be against his decisions. This violates the Article 18 of liberty of expression and through of the Human Declaration of Human Rights. Another example is when Stalin constructed many concentration camps. These concentration camps were called gulags. These camps were used for forced works only for the people that didn't agree with the political system of Stalin. This way, the way Stalin can control the population. In these camps, died around about 3 million of people. These works violate the Article 4 that said that no one is forced to be enslaved, and also the Article 3 of the Human Rights that said that everyone had the right to liberty.
In conclusion, Stalin forced rapid industrialization and the collectivization of agricultural land, resulting in millions of dying people that were sent to camps, and his Red Army helped defeat the Nazi Germany during World War II. At the end of Stalin's regime, he had many negative impacts and consequences on the society. Some examples are killed between 20 and 43 million of his own people. Another example is that Kim Il-sung invaded South Korea in 1950, starting the Korean War due to Stalin's permission. Another one is that he rapidly industrialized the Soviet Union and fought the Nazi Germany in World War II. He also killed millions of ethnic groups like Russians, Slavic, Ukrainian, and Chechen people. He also prevented Germans from conquering Russia and led to battles concluding into the Nazi defeat in the World War II. At the end of Stalin's regime, he also made a lot of restrictions and he made a lot of impacts that caused great damage. One of them was the restriction of migration, that the army prevented starving farmers from traveling into territories where food was more available. Close to 250,000 people were arrested and sentenced for trying to escape from their hunger regions. Another example is that he didn't provide help and aid for hungry people. Some of the researchers claim that the Russian authorities did not provide aid and help for the hunger-stricken regions. Only after 1933 of July, the officials sent some grains to the village affected, but still they didn't got any help from the authorities, remaining a lot of death of the stricken farmers. As my partner Luis said before, during 1934, Stalin turned against members of his own Communist Party, and in 1937 he launched the Great Purge, which was a campaign full of terror directed to all those who tried to threaten his powers, leading to a lot of deaths. Stalin also had a negative impact due to the act of turning the Cold War next to Truman. They both helped to put in place foundations for the starting and the end of the Cold War.
In conclusion, we can say that Joseph Stalin was good to his country and bad because...
Mostly because he gave the victory to their people by defeating the Nazis.
But at the same time, it gave the death to many people, many women and innocent children.
Maybe by some people they could say that he was a national hero, but some others could say that he was a big murderer. Thanks for all.